Britney Spears' ex tried to get into her bedroom, and this was the
Crazy.
day of her wedding. Okay, so we covered this already, and we might go through the video again, but her ex, who she was married to for like less than 3 days, Jason Alexander, he went on the property, and we now know that he'd actually been kind of like stalking around days leading up to it as well. Okay, but he actually went on the property the day of. He's running around for like several minutes, at least that he was live streaming. And he's like, "Where's Britney? Where's Britney?" Security sees him. No one does anything. And they're just kind of allowing him to continue running around. So we had Timothy Collier on with us on that segment, and he does civil litigation, criminal law. And so we're talking about the liability of her security of like, why didn't they tackle this guy? He could have had a weapon. Well,
Mm.
turns out he did. So when he was arrested, the cops found that he, in fact, had a knife on him. And
Well, there's conflicting stories. Was it a knife or was it a box cutter? Because I'm reading that I've read another article that it was a box cutter. I mean, are we splitting hairs about whether it's a box cutter or it's a
all I
knife?
care about is that if there's something he could have used to hurt Britney, because he actually did make it to her door.
That's the story is crazy. The story is crazy. And the craziest part that I heard about it was the fact, or the best part was, because who had to testify was former security guard because her
Yeah,
security
no,
staff
the fired security
fired.
guard.
They got dunzo, and well, so because the story that they were telling was, he'd actually gotten to her bedroom door and tried to unlock it, and was like knocking on it, like how I thought from the impression that I got, he would just kind of made his way in. He got into a little catering area, and then he was just kind of walking around like around the front kind of area, and he got in a little bit. I didn't know that he got into the house, was knocking on doors, and then like
Well, no,
security,
and
they were having a conversation with him. They had already,
yeah.
seen him a few times. So I mean, the fact that they got fired and nothing happened to Britney, like, is
No,
not
so
the
we were
grace of
talking
God.
about potential liability, right? So that had so security, private security being retained their job, the contract says you are supposed to protect, I'm assuming, Britney Spears and anyone else that she named. And they failed to do that, right? So there was potentially some negligence, but I want to just pull up the video really fast so we can just watch this a little bit again. So I'll turn down the volume. But as Jason is running around, it's a little bit blurry, but he's live streaming this whole time. Okay, so he goes on the property. And I'm going to jump forward just a little bit because you see him enter the house, and he actually, runs by someone who's like sitting outside. He goes in. We're going
Oh
to see
my
the
god.
stairs. You know what I'm saying? So like Brittany's like, what, 20 feet away at this point. He's running up. Like he seems to know where he's going too, right? He's not kind of like creeping around. He's like running all over the
Well, let
place.
hold on. Now, if you're playing this like a video game, the way it ran back, the way he was going, yes, it looked like he knew where he was going, but I mean, that's kind of just the path. I think you just let me go right.
No,
Just
but I'm just saying if I'm in a place that I've never been before or I'm otherwise kind of nervous, I'm probably
Yeah, it was
walking a little bit
confidence.
slower. I'm looking around like if someone's about to
It was
shoot
confidence.
me. That's me. But let's go back to this. So here he goes, and there is security now actually showing a weapon, and they haven't
He's
grabbed him. They haven't forcibly, you know, took control of him to actually, take him out of the house. So now he's voluntarily just walking around the outside of the house. He's acknowledging more people as he's going by. So my biggest concern was that he was not known. There was security, and he's actually in the ceremony area now. So I'm just saying, obviously this is pretty scary in general, but he could have been anyone. And we're going to talk
no,
about what
it's
actually happened to him.
no. I mean,
Because
that's insane. Like it's insane. Like I don't know. I don't even know how that happens. A B. Why these security guards don't have handcuffs, and at the very least just or tasers and tase this guy as soon as they saw him.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if he was on a previous list.
No, and so here's
Um,
here's after he had finally been taken down, right? So, they did eventually get him. The police had been called. He did eventually get arrested. And so a part of what we're, covering today is the update in that, he's in jail. He appeared in front of the judge. There's $100,000 bond, and he pled not guilty, which is standard practice, right? So plead not guilty and then and then a couple things will happen, right? So you plead not guilty, and then you have to go through a little discovery where the prosecutor now is going to look at, for example, his live stream footage, right, that he made. Any, if there's body cam footage or security cameras on the property, but they'll go through a little discovery, and then Jason's attorney might file a request saying, hey, like basically we want a lesser charge because I think it's a felony that they're being for felony
Yeah,
stalking.
yeah. That's what I read. Felony stalking specifically. So
Yeah, so this could go to trial, and that's obviously what the articles are, clickbaity. This could go to trial, but oftentimes it's kind of our version of settled out, but that he'll take a plea deal for a lesser sentence.
I don't know. Security being fired, man. That's that, of course. But I mean, like I mean, I hope her next security team, like they have different kinds of, standard of orders. Cause I mean, the fact that he got as far as he did, the fact that they were having a conversation and escorting him and he was still moving about. I mean, she is high profile, like, high profile. They need to treat that like it's the president. Like, go ahead and get some handcuffs, some kind, or at least those what are those zip ties, and zip tie his hands back. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, you can do a lot in protection of, person or
especially when
property.
they're in the
What
house.
I don't think I pull this one. Winston, you make me laugh. Orko would have body slammed him, or Miss K would have shot him.
Now, listen, Miss K has quite the shot too. We went to a gun
Ah,
range, and while I did not have the most comfortable time at the gun range because I didn't like the staff, I'm not going to mention who it was, but uh, but Miss K, as you put it, she was hitting those targets. She was hitting those papers, shredding them up
mhm,
like a hole
mhm.
puncher.
Yeah, he thinks that she still wants to be with him. Yes, those dreaded exes and those 3-day marriages. It can get real confusing. So anyway, that's where we'll leave it for now, but we will continue to follow the story as updates come.